Hello, comic book reading fans. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Welcome to Off the Rack, a live streamed comic book review show here on ComicPop Returns, our supplemental live stream mostly channel where we take the books from the past week and we recap them, review them for your benefit, and then give you recommendations for comics that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up. Because we love comics and we also love the industry and we want to see it succeed. And so we're giving you a little bit of a taste of the inside track on how what's going on in the world of comics. We're also contractually obligated by society to talk about Marvel and DC films, and Hawkeye is a show. We're going to give you our thoughts at the end of the show. After all the comics are concerned, we're going to get into the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. We're not going to do an episode recap. We're just going to give you our initial impressions, and then we'll get into it more as the show progresses. So, yeah, we got a lot of things to cover. Hopefully, all of you, if you live in the continental United States, actually the United States in general, you had a great Thanksgiving. I know we did.
Yeah, we did. Both of them.
We sure did.
That's
yeah,
right.
Both of them. We had 2 Thanksgivings, baby. And we hosted both of them. And we made 2 different turkeys. Both of them were delicious.
Yes, I do think the second one
was better. It was easily better. Because I had some of the first turkey today, and it was not as good.
Did you have any of the other turkey?
No, I did not.
Do we have any of it?
Probably.
Can you do a taste-by-taste comparison?
We could do that, but I'm not going to.
Oh.
But yeah, so here we are. It's post-Thanksgiving.
It's the end of November, and that means it's the end of baseball cap season. And the start of me struggling to put snow hats on.
Yay!
Beanies are in, baby.
It's Beanie Baby season.
Oh, it's not gonna just keep going without me. Who is this show sponsored by?
The sponsor is
me?
you. No, it's not. Well, unless you want to start. But ladies and gentlemen, you are the sponsor of today's episode. We're going to leave that that burden up to you. If you want to help us out, you can use super chats, ask a question or comment, and we'll read it here on the show and integrate you into the show forever. By the way, if you also want to help us out and you don't want to spend money, that's totally cool and totally understandable. And the best way to do that is to subscribe. Subscribe to youtube.com/comicpop. Subscribe to us here on ComicPop Returns, and check us out over on our shorts channel, ComicPop Shorts, where a bunch of shorts are shorted. It's shorts.
Tiny pants are happening over there.
That's right. Just nonstop shorts.
Just little shorts.
Here's an example, by the way, of a sponsor. Brian Rollins says, I'm intrigued by A-hole T'Challa in Black Panther 1. Hope you both had a great Thanksgiving. I have no idea what you're referring to, man. I assume there must be a new Black Panther book. It completely slipped under my radar. I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to learning more about A-hole T'Challa. We'll see how it goes, but thank you very much. Alex Sanchez says, hey, y'all, did any of you read Robin and Batman? That's the Dustin Nguyen book. We purchased it. I don't think we ever got a chance to actually read it, but I did read excerpts from it online. It should be like, it's around. It's like over there.
What's it doing over there? That's not helping anybody.
Well, it was here when we were doing the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have not read it, but it looks great. So yeah, let's jump into some books. I don't have too many. If you want to be surprised by that. I don't have too many at all. But I did read DC versus Vampires #2. Because
you did? I didn't even know that you grabbed it.
I sure did. I grabbed it. I grabbed that gem, ladies and gentlemen. DC.
Wait, is it a gem?
Yeah. It's written, of course, by James Tynion IV and Matthew Rosenberg, with art by Otto Schmidt. DC versus Vampires. Yep. I enjoyed this issue. I had a really good time. The art's fantastic. The story is engaging. And the characters are, as usual, pretty spot on in this kind of like Tom Taylor-esque universe. But I actually was surprised to remind myself that Tynion and Rosenberg wrote this one. But it's a lot of fun. Green Lantern seems to be the main antagonist of the series. We meet the Bat family in this universe. It's very reminiscent of the usual Bat family.
Mm-hmm.
Batman calls them all together in the sunroom during the day.
Right.
Because he knows that there are vampires running amok.
Right.
Green Lantern is summoned by his dark vampire lord, who basically says, you screwed up. Somebody knows that there's vampires and that there's going to be a big vampire war. So you better deal with it. And so Hal's like, okay, I'm all in. Alfred pours every single member of the Bat family a conspicuous tea, and that they must drink their tea before the meeting can get underway. Tea? I thought it was going to be garlic tea as well. It's not.
Oh. Is it holy water?
It is holy water. The big reveal, of course, is that Batman.
Well, you never know, because you never know if they're going to use the religious implications of vampires. That doesn't always go hand in hand anymore. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, I assume it's a red herring because there's a whole sequence where Batman basically reiterates the plot to the entire Bat family over a span of like many pages, and then ultimately it's revealed that like all of their tea has been spiked with holy water. After everybody leaves, Alfred's like, "I didn't have the tea," and Batman's like, "That's okay. I had holy water put into the like water filtration system. Like when you had your morning bath yesterday, you would have burst into flames." He also wanted to mention to his Bat family that the gloves are off, and he like brings them into the cave and unloads like a new trove of Bat weapons, which are basically just murdering weapons.
Is there a Bat lith?
I'm sure if you look through here,
there is not. I don't see one immediately.
Well, I'm sure that someone will put it all together. But I love this because they're basically just like, so we're gonna catch these vampires, or we're gonna catch them and kill them. And Batman's like, you can't kill what's already dead.
So it's totally cool to use
it's
guns.
Totally okay. Well, to use swords and weapons and like
there was a tiny crossbow gun.
There was, yeah. That's a crossbow. Hal calls Barry and murders him because he desperately wanted Barry to like rule the world with him, but his dark vampiric master basically said, if Barry is turned, he will drink the world in a matter of seconds, and it'll all be over.
Oh,
so you have to kill him.
That's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. What he doesn't know, and what hasn't been addressed yet, is that there are about 29 flashes left after Barry.
Maybe not in this.
Maybe. But this book is like, it's taking like painstaking effort to show you this is basically the main DC universe, but people can die. It's very reminiscent of Deceased.
Yeah.
Basically. Otherwise, fun book, good art, no tension, but I did enjoy it nonetheless. And I'm interested to see like this confrontation between a sadistic Hal Jordan who just loves being a douchey vampire and Batman being like, it's my responsibility to kill the vampires. And I'm like, yep, that sounds good to me. That's what I'm signed up for. Let's do it.
Well, now I just want a Blade Batman crossover.
Yeah, but we're never going to get that.
I know.
Even still, it's pretty dope. So I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Kingsport Cal, I want to hear more about this X-Men 97.
Kingsport
Cal says, I want to hear more about this X-Men 97 thing. I loved X in the 90s, and y'all's Hawks and Pox really got me up to date. When's Tiffany going to do Docs? Love my siblings. Yeah, that's cool, man. As far as Docs is concerned, Docs is less comprehensive than Hawks or Pox. So I doubt we're going to be doing like a full-on back issues on Docs. The closest thing you can get is Ten of Swords, which if you didn't watch, you must. And if, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't already checked it out, go to youtube.com/comicpop and follow us over there and check out every episode of back issues. Tiffany has some fantastic episodes that aren't just X related, but in this particular case, she did. She and I co-hosted House of X and Powers of 10 as one episode, and she did full on duty for the Ten of Swords event, which if you didn't read, which probably you didn't, you'll enjoy.
I get it. It's a good time though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Superman gets bit, how does that work?
I don't know.
Because he's fueled by the sun.
Right. It'd be cool if he like got bit, flew into the sun, and burned it out of himself. Odds are he'd just die.
Probably.
Especially since it's like magic versus the sun. You know, he's powered by the sun, but he's weak to magic, so it'd be interesting to see.
Right?
Here's the thing. No matter what, we're going to see Superman become a vampire.
But that doesn't... I mean, I guess he could. Maybe. I mean, does that work? So far, everybody who's become one is a human.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's Kryptonian.
Yeah, nobody thinks about that.
I do.
Would you want to do a Hellfire Gala episode of Back Issues?
We could do that.
That'd be fun. Nobody read that one.
We could do that. We could make everybody dress up for that.
That'd be very interesting.
Costuming. That's the way to get me to want to host something.
X-Men number 5 came out.
You just want to run through yours? You don't want to do a little back and forth here?
I think we should, but you didn't rise to the occasion.
I'm here for it.
Let's do it. All right, jump in.
I read Reptilian.
Now, for those who are not familiar, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Batman Reptilian.
Number 6.
Number 6 by Garth Ennis
And Liam Sharp.
Sharp.
This is the final chapter.
That's it. It's over.
There's no more Batman Reptilian after this. Theoretically.
I don't know about this one. I think I'm gonna need a reread on this one to really get my thoughts together on it for sure. Yeah, this one felt like it was like, you know how Batman, you ever read the first issue and like Batman wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah, no.
No, by the end of it, it is full on what Garth Ennis thinks about Batman. So
okay. He's just an asshole clown.
Yeah, and there's like a little thing at the end of it that's like, there's the original outline that was pitched, like when it was like for Steve Dillon, who was supposed to draw it. But I'm like, no explanation of like why suddenly they opened the drawer up and was like,
let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Which it turns out Ennis hates doing outlines because like they never end up the way he wants them.
Interesting. How does he do them?
But he'll write them if he's forced to, but he doesn't want to do it because he's like, it's never going to end up like my story won't be the outline. It'll be something else.
And I'm Garth Ennis, so it's not like they're going to be like, oh, this isn't like the outline. You're fired.
Yeah. So it came to an end, and
what an end.
I don't know.
No further insight into why he did this.
I'm gonna have to really reach for that one. Maybe he's done. I don't know. I'll reach out to him, see if I can get him. No,
yeah.
But yeah, I read it, and I'm glad to have read it. And like I said, I think I have to reread it, but I can't definitively say like yay or nay to it. But like, it's something, man.
Yeah,
it is something, and it is 100% whatever it's trying to be. It's being 100%.
If since you're familiar with Steve Dillon's work before, you've read Preacher, you've read some of Punisher Max, you've seen his work. Do you prefer Liam Sharp's work, or do you want to see what Steve Dillon would have done with this?
There are definitely some moments throughout Reptilian where it was like Liam Sharp was clearly the best choice for this. Like, because it's like a blend of like what I know from Sharp, but also a little bit of
like Dave McKean or
Dave
Keane, I should say.
Yeah, and Kelly Jones,
here
and there for sure. But I think I would really have loved to see what Steve Dillon would have done with not only the like human characters of this book, but like the more monstrous characters in this book, because I think that could have been really fun.
Yeah.
And for a book that has like there's action in it, but it's not too much. Like,
no.
I don't know. I would have really, really enjoyed seeing what Steve Dillon did with this work. And it's unfortunate that we can't peer into a universe where it was done.
Yeah. But still.
So I did it, folks.
You read all of Batman Reptilian.
I read all of Batman Reptilian. I don't regret it.
Too much. Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. DC versus Vampires is DC Among Us, and I love it. Batgirl was sus for some reason, but that shoe never dropped, and I kept feeling paranoid. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
big time.
We'll try and vote her out into space. That's what happens in Among Us.
Ah, I see. Yes, that's right. I'm looking forward to seeing who in the Bat family has been turned. I have no idea. I feel like, probably all of them. But we'll see.
Spoilers, it's Batman. He's just keeping it together until he can kill the head vampire.
There we go.
Not be a vampire anymore.
Yeah. Young Goku over 9,000. Apparently Diamond shipped stuff out late, so I got no X-Men, but that means double the X-Men this week. Yeah, Diamond really has been screwing up big time lately, especially when it comes to shipping, which is kind of like the only thing they do, so it's kind of weird that they have such an issue with it. But yeah, it's a shame. But I'm glad you're getting it this week, and then at least you get to read 2 X-Men books for the price of 1.
To answer the question of what am I snacking on?
Yeah, please.
Sour cream and onion Pringles.
They're great.
In a little container.
Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
I do love them.
Who doesn't love Pringles?
I do love them.
And I'd love them even more if they wanted to sponsor the show.
Why not?
So X-Men, Jerry Duggan and Pina. So this continues the X-Men the X-Men series from Duggan, where like every issue they deal with another like power player of the Marvel universe.
Yes.
And showcase the team dynamics. Usually there's like one kind of standout character who is kind of justified
or at the forefront.
In this case, it's Polaris.
Yeah.
Which is a good idea because like as much as I have read the X-Men over the last 20 years, I'm not really the world's biggest Polaris fan, nor do I know much about her at all. So to give her an entire issue was a really smart idea to introduce each and every character and be like, here's who they're all about and where they are right now. And that's really a good idea. And Polaris is an interesting place where we get an interesting reveal. Which, do you think this is a revelation or a retcon? Polaris's involvement in this X-Men team, which of course was selected during the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really think it could go either way. Like, this didn't feel clunky in any way, shape, or form. So, like, if they were like, yeah, we decided to go for this, fine.
Yeah.
If they were always like, no,
Polaris is a reluctant member of the
she
X-Men.
doesn't necessarily want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I could see them like planning that ahead of time as well.
Totally. There's a fun sequence where basically the X-Men are ensconced in a fierce battle against the Reavers. And all of them have been kind of like drugged or knocked out, except for like Sunspot? I always get them wrong.
Go back to the credits page.
All right, fine.
Sunfire.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, yay.
Don't doubt yourself. You got this.
There's 2 X-Men named Sun something, and they all have fire. But yeah, Sunfire. Sun. He gets his ass kicked, and Polaris basically uses her abilities to like reanimate, like, because everyone in the team except for Polaris is knocked out.
Yeah.
Polaris reanimates Wolverine. That's Laura.
Oh, that's right. Polaris was voted on. She was one of the voted on people. So
yes.
They may not have known her reasoning for joining. So
exactly.
This is an opportunity to explain.
Yeah.
Why somebody who was voted on by unseen forces.
Yes. But I love seeing Polaris just like whip Wolverine at people. Which is super fun.
Yeah, I definitely also felt kinship to her because she was drinking a flat white, and I've recently discovered those and how much I enjoy them.
I was like,
ooh.
Plus, she has an affinity for glassware, and you just got a new pair of glasses.
You don't have to point it out. Okay, thank you.
And I think they're solid. They look great.
Thank you.
Much like Polaris's new shades in this book. But yeah, we get a flashback to the Hellfire Gala where basically
which is a great excuse for them to redraw the costumes again, because I'm like, everyone look great.
Yeah.
The fits were on fire.
Also to fill pages with a different artist. This is a Carlos who does the flashbacks, and it's fine. It's, does what it does. But yeah, basically Polaris is like, just not me. Like, don't pick me. And Jean switches it to say, just pick me.
Yeah.
And they do. And then they have a little conversation about it later where basically she's like, that was really fucked up what you did. Like Jean. And Jean's like, no, you wanted to be picked first. Like, your first feeling was just pick me. And then your self-doubt made you change your mind. I just went to the first choice. I gave you your like true decision. And she's like, well, either way, I'm happy that I'm doing it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not gonna let you sabotage your success. And I was like,
oh, another ex-mutant character who wears green is Tiffany's favorite.
It's like, okay, well, I feel seen.
Right. We get to see Polaris like do some baller shit where she saves like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And then like helps
reminder that she's a doctor.
Right. She and Rogue like whip it into the sun or whatever. They fight some like remnants of the High Evolutionary who are being controlled by dark forces. It's the whole thing. But it's a fun fight. Every issue has to have like a fun fight and the like undercurrent of the X-Men are hunted and hated by like powers beyond their reasoning.
Well, no, it's always for helping, because even in this one, we're dealing with an enemy who are the Reavers, who are created from those who had been injured by various mutants around the globe and seek vengeance in all the worst ways possible. But they're been hired out as mercenaries, and they're preventing like an election from occurring.
Yes.
And so like the X-Men are there to help with that.
Right. Towards the end, the X-Men basically throw kind of like a not a party, it's more like a humanitarian effort.
A
Thanksgiving, if you will, where they're basically like, come to our base in New York and we will like clothe the homeless, and we're going to set up like a free clinic where we're going to clean you up and make you like, heal your wounds or whatever problems you got going on, as a way of saying thank you. It's really sweet and it's a really nice gesture. Realistically speaking, there would be a line that goes all the way into Connecticut to get into this damn thing if they were offering free healthcare to like New Yorkers. That being said, it's a really nice gesture and it's cute. And then Ben Urich shows up and I'm like, yay! Ben, of course, in the previous issue was handed a dossier where it was basically like, Cyclops went to space and died, and he's here now. And what's all that about? And, basically gives Ben Urich like an orgy of evidence so that he could very easily connect the dots to the X-Men Resurrection protocols, which, of course, the X-Men have worked very hard to contain.
Wraps, yeah.
And Cyclops and Ben go for a walk, and basically Ben's like, I'm writing the story about your resurrection and about your protocols. You have until tomorrow to give me a quote.
There is such a good image in this, and it's that up close of his visor with Ben's face in it. I was like,
what is Cyclops going to do? It's a great shot.
I just adore this panel so much. I thought it was so well done.
Yep, easily. No, this is one of those moments where, it builds the tension because Ben like leads you down the path.
Right. Well, you have two individuals here where you can't see their eyes.
Yeah.
Ben has glasses on, Cyclops has the visor, and you don't know which way either of them is going to go.
No, it's true.
Ben could have been like, and I'm not going to write the story.
Yeah. And Cyclops could have been like, I'm going to kill you. Also, there's like a big bad guy who has a bike helmet, and he's watching and listening.
Yeah, which we knew.
Yeah. He's on the cover. He doesn't do anything in this issue, but
he's shown up in past.
Yeah, I'm just saying, he doesn't really do much. It's not,
yeah, no, he does not.
But I'm excited to see what the Daily Bugle is going to do to the X-Men after this.
X-Men, heroes or menace?
Yeah.
Jonah, you got to try a little harder.
Why?
It can't always be hero or menace.
Well, Jonah doesn't even work for the Bugle anymore. When they need to fix that shit, Marvel is like almost deliberately being like, don't put it back where it was. It's like just put Jonah back.
Yeah.
But I liked it. You?
I loved it.
Yeah, it's all fantastic.
X-Men is a solid book.
Totally. Young Goku over 9,000 just finished reading Batman Reptilian like 2 seconds ago. What the hell did I just read, and why am I so pleased with it?
Okay, so seriously, I'm right there with you, because honestly, I'm like, what happened in this book?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I too enjoyed it, and I can't tell you why I enjoyed it, but I certainly did enjoy it to some degree. But I'm also questioning everything.
Sure, of course,
because I'm really taking this one as like a Legends of the Dark Knight kind of book, even though it's not. It's completely must be out of continuity.
Yeah,
it has to be. It's a Black Label book, so it is. But it strikes me as that because of the old nature to it, because it was an old pitch. But it's Ennis writing Batman, so you're getting Ennis's Batman inevitably.
Yeah,
at first I was kind of like, okay, but it just transitions into
into whatever that is.
Into him being a jerk.
Yep. What were you going to say earlier? I'm sorry.
Oh, I wasn't. I was just getting my next book.
Your book?
Ready.
Oh, okay.
I was getting ready, so I didn't get some crap. But you can go ahead and do what you need to.
All right. Well, Pancake Pappy says, will we get a back issues video on Prophet, the globally iconic Rob Liefeld character, for the upcoming movie with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Sal?
Well, no. You never will. And I don't need to tell you ahead of time that I'm never going to do certain books on back issues like any Rob Liefeld comic, but I'm never going to do a Rob Liefeld comic outside of maybe a Heroes Reborn kind of mocking, but we're not doing Prophet. You may see Prophet on The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which you can find on this channel here at ComicPop Returns, which one day, we'll talk about Prophet a little bit, but never on back issues.
Okay.
If we can't do Bloodshot on back issues, we certainly will never do Prophet.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen.
So I read.
Yeah.
You read DC versus Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
I read Task Force Z.
Oh, great. That's a book I don't like, so that worked out great.
Well, I really liked the book that you read, but I didn't know you had it. So
I know. I'm sorry.
I didn't read it. So it's written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Eddie Barrows. And the first issue of this, I had obviously that came out at the exact same time as DC versus Vampires, so I couldn't help but compare and contrast.
Of course.
And I thought that DC versus Vampires was better than Task Force Z.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll give it another one more issue.
Yes.
And I did.
Yes, you did.
And okay. There's something fun and a little charming about this book, but the fact is that it feels very formulaic. Although
by the numbers.
A little bit. Although it does seem to be focusing in on Mr. Bloom, who I have a Bizarro fascination with.
Yes.
So not Bizarro.
No, not Bizarro the character me am so happy.
I have a Bizarro, not fascination, not disinterest.
Yeah, there you go.
With
I have
don't
a
know.
bizarro disinterest of this.
Yeah, bizarro disinterest of this character. But there seems to be something going on with that character, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stick it out a little longer. But the formula seems to be Jason Todd is like odd man out.
Yep.
And he's basically like, okay, I'm trying to keep this whole thing together. Oh, what's gonna happen next? Like, this is so stupid. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go tell like the newspapers. They're like, no, you're not. Like, just do it again. It's gonna be fine. Trust me. It's all gonna work out. And he's like, fine, but I want someone else who's there to like watch my back because I almost got eaten.
Right.
He ends up not being eaten.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Arkham Knight does not eat him.
Good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Random family text. But you know, during that time in which he may be eaten, Mr. Bloom is like off dealing with Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
And like shoves Lazarus pills into Mr. Freeze's mouth. Which then he says that Mr. Freeze got away later on when questioned.
Okay.
So like, you know, Jason's like, okay, well, like I said, this is a bad idea and we shouldn't have done this. I almost got eaten, so I'm out. And they're like, no, you're not.
No, you're
like,
not.
He's basically like, I'd rather be arrested.
Yeah.
And
because Batman will just break me out. So
yeah, like who cares? It doesn't matter. He runs into what's her name? Astrid Arkham.
Ah, yes.
Who is Arkham Knight right now. She seems to be looking a lot more alive. And he's like, and she's like, oh, it was just the amount of Lazarus they gave me to like regenerate my legs, like brought me back to life for now. So I'm out for a walk before I become like a zombie again. And I'm like,
is that a thing?
Apparently.
Okay.
So the team, like, they regenerate Bane and Man-Bat, who is huge. Like, Man-Bat be huge in this book.
Yeah, he should be huge. He has big wings and he's a monster.
Yeah, but like when he was on Justice League Dark, he was like a little shrimpy guy.
Yes, he was.
And like now he's like,
now he's huge.
He's as big as Bane.
Right.
And Mr. Bloom. And I'm like,
yeah, because nobody at DC gives a shit.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But I mean, when he was on Justice League Dark, he was more human, more man than Bat.
Yes.
In a way.
Well, now he's more Bat than man, like in the Man-Bat book.
Now he's more zombie than Bat or man.
Yeah, well, because they killed him like practically off panel in a backup.
Right. So Jason Todd is sent with his team to just like to meet up with the person who will be his like backup from now on, because he's like, I need like a real person to be backup or someone I can trust.
Yeah.
Because I can't do this shit anymore.
Sure, yeah.
So they go into this building and the Cobra cult is there.
Okay.
So they fight them, just like they fought a bunch of guys last time, and like the shit hits the fan and Bane falls through the floor. But everybody's a little more cogent because they've been like hopped up on Lazarus, so like Jason has a little more control over them.
Okay.
Kind of. Bloom slips away again. We don't know where, or we don't initially see where he has gone.
Yeah.
It's revealed that Sundowner is there.
Okay.
And so we like, oh, cool. This character who was said to be on the team is on the team now.
Yeah.
And then when all is said and done, they've won the day. Turn the lights off. Sundowner goes away. And then they're like, oh, it looks like we found who we're looking for. And there's like a coffin there.
Okay.
And then Jason gets shot. Because apparently a theme here is going to be Jason complains about being a part of this team. They go on like into a fight. It doesn't quite go to plan. One or more team members goes missing. Jason almost dies.
Right. And the last page reveal is that he's gonna die this time.
Yep, and like the next thing, which is it's Deadshot.
Oh.
Who is dead.
Oh.
It's dead shot.
Right.
Dead squared shot.
Double dead shot.
So did I enjoy this book, this issue a little more? Sure, because the team like writing was a little more fun and again a little more focus on Mr. Bloom, but
it's not enough.
I don't know if it's enough for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then I did see this like
World of Krypton
book. Ridiculous like cover at the end of this. I was like,
that's neat.
That's neat. And I
might
know
check that out.
You're going to be talking about, I think, the cover of this episode, correct?
Yeah.
So then let me talk about my last book.
Please.
So that we can do your thoughts about that, and then we can go right into talking about the shows.
Yeah.
Because I also read that The Death of Doctor Strange #3.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
Literally having realized that I've missed every tie-in so far.
Right, which like you don't need anyway.
No, but I bought one of them and I will read it because it's drawn by Mike Del Mundo.
Oh, that's cool.
And like I gotta tell you, I peeped at that book a little bit.
It looks great.
It It's Strange Academy,
Oh
drawn by
no.
Mike Del Mundo, and I'm like, oh, that looks. I love Humberto Ramos on that book, but like,
Yeah, but that looks great.
I could take a Mike Del Mundo,
Yeah.
Scotty Young collab for sure. So I'd like to see that happen. And I
Yeah.
didn't get the Avengers one, and then I saw at the end of this book, the one this week, they were like, Spider-Man, Death of Doctor Strange is out, and I'm like, it is. So I went back and I looked, and it's not.
No, it comes out
next week.
Next week.
But the list in here says it's out now.
Of course it does.
I'm like, oops.
Because the book got delayed. Yeah, and I'm not interested in reading a book where Ben Reilly, a character who's almost never, outside of his memories, interacted with Doctor Strange, is going to react to his death. So pass.
So here's, I'll talk about this book a little bit, but there's something very specific I want to talk to you about this book.
Okay.
All right? Because basically this is like Strange being like, we have to do an autopsy on me, a magical one and like a not magical one. So
and he's going to do it? Like Blue Cape is going to do it?
He's going to do the magical one because this Doctor Strange hands are still broken. Because remember, Doctor Strange's hands got fixed in Mark Waid's run?
Yes, I did remember that.
Basically what happened was, after Jason Aaron, too many things were done to Doctor Strange, and they couldn't figure out what to do with him anymore.
Well, don't forget how Hickman
killed,
broke his soul in 1,000 pieces and sold them all, and so yeah, there's nowhere else to go.
They literally just were like, just push this button and let's figure this out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, couple things. First of all, Jane Foster, she's doing the autopsy.
Oh.
He's doing the magical autopsy on it, right?
Okay.
We get a nice little history lesson with Clea about she's like, okay, so let me tell you about this child. He's the peregrine child. It's basically hunger. We've created Magic Galactus, guys.
Okay.
This child hungers all the time, and its main food is eating magic people.
Oh, magic people.
Not magic itself. So
okay.
Not quite the same as Way of the Weird.
Yes. It's not. It's 25% more distinct from
these three chicks are helping him. His three mothers, essentially. No one quite knows where they came from.
Right, because the Black Order is very popular, so we got a magic Black Order.
I guess. But I will say there's a really cool description of this, because they're like, no one knows for sure if the child, what the child is,
right?
Whether or not it actually exists, or whether it's something that there's something more to it, but we can't conceive of it. And so this is what we can understand of it. I'm like, oh, okay, Lovecraftian. Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
Strange essentially leaves the Avengers to deal with the others. Remember, Umar and all them came to Earth.
Yes.
Hiding and seeking refuge and taking over, because after the Sorcerer Supreme
died,
they were like, oh, cool, I'll just bring a little bit of my kingdom here and I'll live here, because their plan was much like the episode of Star Trek we just watched last night with Q2?
Yeah, Deja Q.
They came to seek refuge here, knowing that the Avengers
would defend them,
and the X-Men, and would defend Earth and save them.
Right.
Not caring about what happened to anyone else.
Yes.
So Strange and Clea and Wong magically leave and leave the Avengers to deal with that.
Sure.
So, Tony's like, thanks. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Clea and he have a big long conversation, which we'll get into. She finds out where the Eye of Agamotto and Cloak of Levitation are, because this Doctor Strange realized that the ones that were on the body of our previous Doctor Strange aren't the real ones, and someone must have stolen them. So they got to figure out who it is. So then we get a side by side.
Steve have would have noticed.
No, after he died, they were stolen.
Oh,
they replaced.
He died and they swapped him. Okay.
Yeah, somebody swapped them.
All right, cool.
On his.
That's fine.
Corpse. It's Baron Mordo, so they go to Castle Mordo, but simultaneously, the three mothers go and basically take Dagoth, who would also come. He's one of the warlords who came, and they feed it to the child. Cool, whatever.
Okay.
Strange and his cohorts enter Castle Mordo. They run into Caecilius. They're like, he's over there. Oh! Strange is total classic Doctor Strange, talking boisterously and angrily and all that such.
Sure.
And we see Baron Mordo behind a door, clutching the things, and he's just look on his face like,
oh no, what have I done?
Oh no. But also I'm like, oh no, maybe he didn't steal them and they were planted on him. There's no way you're gonna believe me.
Right. That's awesome.
I don't know that.
That's kind of fun. If that's the case, that's really great.
And I'm like, here's the thing. It might sound like I'm down on this series, but I am honestly enjoying it. But some things I'm like, okay, we've just kind of seen this before. And
sure.
Again, I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going. But there's a fact to this too, where it's because Doctor Strange's stuff was stolen and also his soul, the magic that was associated with Doctor Strange hasn't been dispersed, and so there can't be a new Sorcerer Supreme yet. So like we're completely left like unprotected.
Yeah, okay.
Right? But there's really no sort of tension there because I already know that there's a solicitation out there about who's going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. So I already know it's going to be fixed.
Okay.
Marvel.
Well, that's Marvel's fault. Not
I know. No, I know. And that's why I'm like, if I sound like I'm down on it, it's not like Jed McKay's fault.
But like the tension is thwarted.
So that element of the tension is thwarted. And maybe that just means that that's not going to be the main focus of this. But like, I don't know. That seems like a big deal. Now let's talk about something else that I've like, as soon as I read this page, I was like, I cannot wait to talk to Sal about this.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. The Clea and Doctor Strange conversation.
Yeah.
What do they talk about?
Their marriage?
No, they talk about the fact that I think, yeah. All right. So Doctor Strange at one point gave up in order just to help rebuild the universe. He made a deal with Mephisto.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that? It was recent.
Yes, I do remember that.
He makes a deal with Mephisto, and what does he give to him but his memories? No. Clea's memories of Strange.
Yes, I do remember that.
And so like they never had a relationship.
Exactly.
According to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. After Strange died, Clea remembered everything.
Okay.
Because according to her, the devil would of course do that because she'd have her memories back as soon as she as soon as like was incapable of reaching out to him or dealing with or like, you know, talking to him because he was dead.
Yeah.
That he like it would cause her more suffering. And so the memories are given back.
Okay.
So that's why immediately after that I asked like Sal covertly, I was like, hey, has Peter Parker died at any point?
Right. No, he has not died. Not since the other,
like,
I think.
Like in theory, Jed McKay just set up that if Peter Parker dies,
that
then like the memories of his marriage to Mary Jane may return to everyone.
Right.
And possibly his
identity too?
Yeah,
Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, the way to tie that in is instead of Peter dying, it's Aunt May dies.
Yeah.
And then everything just goes
I thought that too. Like if she died and then but he didn't make a deal with Aunt May.
Yeah.
He made a deal with Peter.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the deal was for Aunt May's life.
That's true. So you could technically make it work that he's like, but she died, so it's cool. I put it all back. Or I gave it to her because I knew that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then May knows that like he gave up everything for what seemingly was no reason.
Yeah. Which I mean, we all agree.
So yeah.
Cool. I don't want to spoil who the next Sorcerer Supreme is then. So
is it out there?
No, but I know you know, so I don't want to ask because I was like, oh, you know, be fun.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you said it was spoiled.
No, it's just that there will be one. Right now,
we just know
the
the
hook
next
in here is that there can't be one.
Right. Yeah.
Because
okay.
there's like the magic's on, and I'm like, you know, that's a fun like. It's in limbo, so like who's going to defend Earth?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of a fun concept that like we can't have a Sorcerer Supreme until this is like resolved.
Right.
Which clearly it's going to be resolved. And like as a reader, I know that eventually it will be, whether it's in this book or another. Clearly it's going to be this book. But to already have a solicitation out being like, who's the next Sorcerer Supreme? I'm like, okay, so why did you even bother putting this?
Right.
In here?
Right.
Why is this even a story point?
Yeah.
Because like they were just going to ruin it.
I guess they'll make Clea Sorcerer Supreme.
Could be Wong.
That makes sense.
Because they're pushing him towards that in the movies.
Since Wong is more powerful than Doctor Strange in the movies.
But, well, you know what? It's a different universe. I'm not, yeah. But it could be Clea.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not of this Earth.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that was a Spider-Man Deadpool book. Somebody referenced that he died in that. Yeah, he did die in a Spider-Man Deadpool book.
Well, there you go. He could then have given those. Maybe that's what it is. If that happened and Aunt May's just carrying that because she's like, it's what Peter wants. But then one day, much like she had the conversation with him about knowing that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
She could be like, I know what you did.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be amazing because Aunt May has been marginalized for like years now.
Like they just sit down and it's just like
they had a whole plot where she had cancer and they just like ignored it. They just threw it
Right.
away. So it's like, they don't know what to do with her. So that'd be a way better thing to do with her than that. At least an arc for her.
Just be like, I can't believe that you gave up.
How selfish you were. Uncle Ben would be ashamed of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd
Like,
be dope.
I get it. But like,
Yeah. Right. I get your grief, but like, get over yourself. We all taught you better than that. Yeah, that'd be nice. Girk Pectus says, I know I'm in the minority, but I love how Ennis writes Batman. I know it's not Batman, it's a parody, but it's really funny and entertaining.
It is something else. Like that maybe that's where the joy is coming for me in this for that book. I don't know.
Yeah. What was it? Girk Pectus also mentioned, I know how much you love cons. I recommend Theme Park Attraction Con. I went to one. It was my second favorite con. First is PAX West, which is really PAX Prime. Since it's mostly business, it felt like a pre-COVID con, which we all miss. Okay.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That does sound like fun for real.
Right? One of our local cons does a special show at Great Adventure. So that's like a thing. So yeah, we'll talk more about Hulk #1 from Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley.
Okay.
This dovetails directly off of the Immortal Hulk,
okay.
which is like everyone's favorite Hulk run of all time. Al Ewing.
Take that, Peter David.
Yeah, I mean, like the David run is also unparalleled, but like people loved what they did with what Ewing did with it. And
I'm not throwing shade at him. I just,
no. But yeah, Cates is doing what he does, which is he takes like whatever the guy did before him and throws it in the trash and is like, I'm doing this. And it's one of those things where I saw some art for this book early on, and I was like, that looks dumb. Like, it just looks dumb. And I'm not a Hulk guy. So like, when I want to see the Hulk in something, I want him green and big and smashing. Like, that's the only thing I want to see Hulk do. And I appreciate whenever anybody goes like, hey, I'm doing a new thing with Hulk and it's different. You know, it's not like Banner hates the Hulk and just wants to get rid of him. I'm like, well, you never will, because it's not interesting. And we've seen every iteration of the Hulk you could possibly imagine. So like, what are you going to do now? And
what are you going to do with that Hulk?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that Hulk, baby? Great question. So Cates' idea is, well, like Hulk has been the villain. So how about Banner's the villain now?
Okay.
And so the idea is that like Banner. So, okay, the concept
is... I'm sorry, is this entitled Smashtronaut?
Yeah. Yeah. Banner is the first Smashtronaut.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So the idea is that like Banner's just so mad all the time. He's just like, oh man, I hate the Hulk, even though we pretty much left Hulk in an interesting place, like in the last story. Just if you were a big Mortal Hulk fan, you're gonna have to just let it go if you want to keep reading Hulk. Let it go. But yeah, so Banner basically creates like, Banner can like create like rooms and crap like in Dreamcatcher, like in Hulk's head. So he turns the Hulk into a spaceship in his mind. So like the Hulk's brain is like a bridge, like from Star Trek. And the engine, the hyperdrive of the ship, is the Hulk's personality, which is trapped in like a plane of existence where he's just angry and under siege by like bad memories and assaults for all the time. So like when Hulk is mad, that fuels the ship and he can fly Hulk into stuff and pilot him. So like Hulk is just a passenger, like in this, like, so Hulk is the ship and Banner flies the Hulk up here and like his eyes are the windshield.
So wait, he doesn't become Banner?
No. Banner is a personality inside the Hulk. And also he did all this like off screen and like so characters like Doctor Strange and Captain America are like, he's already done these things that we're introducing you to right now and we've got to do something about it.
Maybe we should send him into space.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god in heaven, are you going to shoot him into space again? But like, so Banner he outfits Hulk in Hulk's like, you know, in this like technology that will help facilitate what he's doing, which looks like this. And Iron Man busts out his Hulkbuster suit to fight him, and you get a fun Hulk versus Iron Man fight. But Hulk, he looks like an action figure. He looks like a knockoff Hulk figure.
He looks like they were like trying. Okay, here's what he looks like to me. He looks like they decided to do a Weapon X line of heroes.
Right, like everybody's Weapon X.
So it looks like this is Hulk's Weapon X outfit.
Yeah. Except they already made a character
he
called...
escaped from the lab.
Yeah, they literally did a character called Weapon H, where it's Hulk with claws.
I was just thinking with all the wires.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he looks... Yeah, he's got that helmet on.
He's got the things going on.
Yeah. So anyway, Banner's like, I'm leaving, and you can't stop me. And they're like, no, we got to stop you. And it's like, what?
And he's like, peace.
Yeah. So Banner needs to, there's a scene where like Banner needs to, he needs to engage like hyperdrive, and so he like sends basically like attack helicopters to fight Hulk. And so you got like classic Hulk kind of like in the mindscape.
May I make a Ben joke?
Yeah.
Will he be using... Is he going to fart so hard he propels himself away? Like, if we're going with the spaceship analogy, it has to come from somewhere.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. I think that it's just, his rage. The rage is the fuel.
Oh, it's his fuel.
Is the fuel for the starship that is Hulk's body.
Right, but that's the fuel, but where's the propulsion?
Right, where is the propulsion? And they don't really get into that. But, like Stark deploys nanotech, Hulk gets his arm caught in there, but then he's like so mad and he uses his energy so hard that he just rips his arm right out of its socket. And it's just like, rah! And then like, whoosh, like that's what this book is. Just and kaboom. Which I guess a Hulk book should be. I don't know. But basically oh man, I forgot about the fact that like he rips his own arm off and then he grabs Tony's like Hulkbuster arm and he just jams it into the socket. Like that would do something.
How does that work?
It shouldn't at all. But like, and I'm so sick of people being like, that's comic books, baby. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like that's not comic books. Like, at least they try a little bit. This is just like whatever.
Wait, who's that?
That's Hulk in the Mindscape. He's just endlessly fighting so that he can like be more powerful and like use, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, the point is Hulk just like steals he steals a teleporter and he goes away. And he leaves.
Man, the Avenger, Tony Stark's doing a whole lot of things right now. He's helping Doctor Strange with magic stuff.
Yep.
There's magic people everywhere, but nobody's dealing with that. He's fighting the Hulk.
Yeah. I love it. Like Hulk like beats the crap out of everybody and they're all like, oh no, he wants to leave. We can't let him. Anyway, this book is like really, really dumb. But
if you want a like just punch fest,
well, that's
like,
the thing.
If that's what you're looking for. Because like, here's the thing.
Yeah, if you want to see Hulk punch in an outfit you've never wanted to see the Hulk in, but like, here's the thing. You don't need to defend me. My point is like, it's really, really dumb. But
okay, I
enjoyed reading it.
What?
Like halfway through it, I'm like, nah. Like I was not that I like enjoyed it. I found myself wanting to know what happened next, which is the hallmark of like, an engaging read. Like I was like, what is happening? Like, what's going to happen next? Where is he going with this? And it's like, it's really insulting that he just threw everything that Al Ewing built out the window so that he could do this thing that he clearly like wrote like 5 years ago. But it's pretty engaging. Like I implore you like to check it out because it's so weird.
But when will we talk to his dad?
Right. That'll be later because we have to,
and
right?
Get his sword.
Oh, well, here's the thing. There's no way that like Hulk's son won't come into play because Donny Cates is writing it. So like it's about fathers. Like that's what every single Donny Cates book is about. Like every single Tom King book is about like being like through a war and having PTSD, and then a strong woman shows up and helps him through it. This is, I mean, he's gonna have a sword. He's gonna have a son. So Scar is probably gonna show up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Scar.
Yeah, no, he has a son. That's why Donny Cates wanted to do the book.
I completely forgot about.
That's all hearsay, by the way. I'm not actually saying that. It's not like Donny Cates is like on record being like, obviously, I'm only gonna write about fathers and sons. That's just his resume. But I feel like there's no way it's not gonna be. Although I will say his Doctor Strange wasn't really about fathers and sons. It was just so utterly forgettable that you can't remember it.
No, Donny Cates was the one that gave him back his power.
Yes.
So he had like a job to do.
Yeah, he was just doing work.
Yeah.
He wasn't like telling a Doctor Strange story.
No, he didn't have a chance to do that. But that's okay. It's regular Doctor Strange is in this.
Oh yeah, no regular Doctor Strange. He didn't die yet. in this, or Donny Cates. That's the thing. Cates clearly just wrote this like 5 years ago.
Could be.
Like he wrote this like during Al Ewing was writing this, and he's like, "Oh, cool. You're writing Doctor Strange. You're writing Hulk. Cool. Yeah, I got a Hulk story. The Hulk's a spaceship. Whatever." So Banner's the villain, and he's just had enough, and he's always mad, and like he's able to talk to characters. Like what's frustrating is like when he's talking to like Betty, who's like a hologram in his own mind, and it's a memory of her. So it's like not really what she would say or do, but like we're gonna have to treat it like that because like that's how it's used in the narrative convention. But like if you think about it for 2 seconds, it's like no, that's Banner's warped interpretation of what Betty is.
Yeah.
So he'd never be able to come up with what she'd actually say or react to. So it's like not really fair. But anyway, that's a book and it exists. And despite everything that, like, if you just listed off all the things about this book, like it throws away what happened before, and people really enjoyed that one, and it doesn't matter.
Is he still immortal in this?
No, he's not. No, he says like, well, Hulk is, but Banner isn't. That's what he says. That's his one little like lip service that he pays. He's like, Hulk can't die, but I can. And I'm like, no, you are the Hulk. You can't die. We showed you die like a bunch of times in that book, the called Immortal Hulk. It's just like whatever. It's a weird book, but I found myself, it's a page turner, and not in a Schadenfreude kind of way where I'm like, this sucks. Like it's literally like I'm like, this is so stupid. What's gonna happen next? I couldn't like.
So it is like, what's he gonna do with that Hulk, baby?
Oh yeah, what's he gonna do with that Hulk baby? I have no idea. I can't even believe. Like I couldn't tell you.
You won't believe.
You won't believe. That's what go on the book. Here's your quote. Here's your quote for the cover. You won't believe. So yeah, that exists, and I read it. So nice. There you have it.
You did read that.
I did, and I talked about it.
Gold
so
star.
Thank you very much. Abe Sapien just wanted to share this with you guys. I found a hardcover copy of Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom on Black Friday.
Wow!
I also want to thank Tiffany for her awesome back issues on this gem and introduced me to this kick-ass story.
That's great. Great find. Congrats.
Yeah. Kelly Frederick says DC Vampires, Robin, and Thor were the top books this week. I bought Robin, but I didn't get a chance to read it yet.
I saw it was in there.
It was. Just some guy with a mustache. I hate it. Please make more. That's basically what it is. Yeah, this is really dumb.
I think you might have missed one earlier.
Oh, a super chat?
Yeah.
Quite possibly. Somebody asked about Spider-Man. I read it. I wish I didn't.
Go up. Keep going. Yeah. Go up there.
No, this one we didn't do.
One more. There you go.
Kingsport Cal says, I show people you two in order to prove that there is love out there for all the nerds. I've enjoyed reading or watching y'all's relationship over the years. It's my comic. Well, thank you, sir.
I like this guy.
I like this girl. Thank you. But thank you, sir. Thomas Melush says, I loved Elseworlds Exchange last week. Cold open of X-Men movie. Gotta be Scott as the only one left on a plane directly after the snap. Justice for Cyclops. I agree with that. I'd be down for that.
He wakes up for a second. He's like, it's the Langoliers. Reset the Langolier reference tally.
There we go. Yay. Yeah, if you haven't already checked that out, watch our episode of Elseworlds Exchange.
Go up. Yeah, wasn't that one?
We did that one.
That one?
Oh, here we go. Kirk Pectus, you think DC should bring back Just Imagine stories, not Stan Lee, if they're not going to do Elseworlds? Great meeting you at New York Comic Con. Story, keep missing you live. That's okay.
Well, that's okay.
But yeah, it was good meeting you too. Just Imagine would be a great idea. They should just bring back Elseworlds though. And I'm sure that Just Imagine is like a weird thing for them. Like it's complicated, even though it was just we hired Stan Lee to write a bunch of books. I think what's his name? Morrison has used those characters, or at least one of them, and there's an omnibus of it. I know because we have it. Mm-hmm. So let's jump into some recommendations for comics that we think that you should pick up this week,
and then
we're going to talk about Hawkeye. Human Target #2. Obviously, this book is Greg Smallwood's opus. And also Tom King wrote it, and it's really good. It's well written, and the art is fantastic. I mean, and
also
literally, if you read anything about this book, like the star is Greg Smallwood, and Tom King just like gave Smallwood some stuff to draw. But it really is a wonderful blend of the two of their talents. It's a great book. Issue 2 comes out tomorrow. Batman the Detective #6. I think this is the end
Yeah,
I hope
6 of
so.
6.
Thank God. Okay. I like this book, but it's like time for it to be over. Batman the Detective number 6, Tom Taylor, Sandra Hope, and Andy Kubert. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm like, this website really screws things up for me. But Kubert's drawing this, as he should
Yeah,
have.
I think she maybe is the
I think she's
inker or
inking.
colorist.
Yeah. Either way, it's a great book. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I hope to talk about it on the back issues someday soon. The Trial of Magneto. Remember that? It's coming out. I don't even know how many more friggin' issues there are, and Marvel made no attempt to tell you.
They're like, well, then you might not buy it.
Yeah, let's take a look at this listation here. It says next. Okay, it looks like it's the penultimate issue of the Trial of Magneto. Thank God. I can't wait to see how this ends up because I want them to just retcon Wanda, and they just should. I just want to point this out because it's kind of fun. Fantastic Four number 38, written by Dan Slott, is the return of She-Hulk. She-Hulk, which Dan Slott made his bones writing arguably like it's John Byrne and Dan Slott. Like those are the two people who people remember She-Hulk for. And he gets to take her for a ride in this one too. And I'm like, good for you. Good for She-Hulk. Good for Jen. Neat. Maybe I'll check it out. I haven't read any of these issues outside of the first two, and so we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the book that everyone should be reading is Daredevil number 36. This book is fantastic. If you are interested in checking out Daredevil, read issues 1 through 35, and then you can read 36. As I understand it, this is the last issue of Daredevil until Devil's Reign, which is Chip Zdarsky's event, which is tailored to this whole status quo. Looks like Manuel Garcia is drawing it, which I'm sure he does a good job. But I do miss Chichetto. I think Chicchetto's doing Devil's Reign, which is why he's doing this.
Probably that makes sense.
But yeah, I can't wait. This is a great series, and I'm hopefully it's because this final issue. Who knows what that means? I know that Zdarsky has talked about this book and using like vague language has suggested that it's not really canceled, but we'll see. Nightwing Nightwing Annual number 1 from 2021 is coming out from Tom Taylor and Clan Tormey. This is a Tom Taylor Nightwing book that will have no Fear State connection, so it's worth picking up. Amazing Spider-Man number 80 is coming out. This book is fine. I didn't like the last one, but we'll see how it goes. Detective Comics 2021 Annual number 1 is also coming out. This is from Matthew Rosenberg and Mariko Tamaki with art by Victor Bogdanovic. So if you are interested in Batman and you're sick of Fear State, read this. Annuals are usually a good way to jump in.
Yeah.
There's also more.
There is more.
Oh, so much more.
And there's someplace. We'll find them.
Here they are.
Yeah, we found them. Just go through the
Yeah, let me just here.
Oh, cool. Let's just go through the X-Men stuff. Marauders, number 26.
Yep.
Fin Fang Foom.
Got 3 words for you.
I got 3 words for you indeed.
Fin Fang and Foom.
So I was like, kind of like, we'll see if I pick this one up. I'm clearly going to pick this one up. Yep. New Mutants number 23 is coming out. Oh, sorry, that's written by Jerry Duggan.
Yay.
With art by Matteo Lally.
Yay.
New Mutants number 23 is coming out. I gotta tell you, I'm interested in the Shadow King like storyline here because like he is, he's a significant villain in the X-Men's history.
Yes.
And so he's really just been in this one book. So he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Vita Ayala on writing for that, and Rod Rice as the artist. Rod Rice is the star.
Yeah, easily.
Wonder Woman Annual. The 2021 Annual number 1 is coming out this week, written by Becky Cloonan and Mike Conrad, who's been working on the main book, with art by Andy McDonald. I don't know if I'm familiar with their work, but it's a Mitch Gerrard cover, so that might be worth it alone to grab.
Yeah, and this cover you've seen like everywhere. It's the one of the little girl looking at Wonder Woman and saying the logo.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yep.
Justice League Dark is getting an annual all by itself.
Well, it didn't have a book, so it might as well have an annual.
All by itself. It looks like it's written by Ram V and possibly Dan Waters.
Mm-hmm.
With art by Christopher Mitten.
And this is one book that Christopher Mittens the Kitten won't soon forget.
So yeah, I got an annual all by itself.
Yay! And it's 48 pages.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna have to catch up because I have not been reading this book because we haven't been getting Justice League, and I literally can't justify
reading the Justice League book.
well picking that up for the price tag for just the back end of it.
Nope.
Like I just can't do it. So I guess I'll have to do it though. Maybe they'll have a Cyber Monday sale I could check out tonight. I don't know.
Good idea.
The Me You Love in the Dark #5. I love this book, written by Scotty Young with art by Jorge Corona. It's just a spectacular book. So much fun in like not fun ways sometimes. So yeah. Once and Future #22 for my Once and Future fans out there. Kieran Gillen, Dan Morris still kicking ass and taking names on that book. The Magic Order 2 #2 is coming out. Stuart Immonen on art this time with Mark Miller writing this book. This return of Magic Order really got me going because I was like, I haven't read that in a while. Was able to kind of jump back into it and remember things from the previous book, which for me that is it's a good sign for me. So looking forward to that. Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazon's #1 is finally coming out. Written by Kelly. Oh my God, my brain. Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Phil Jimenez. I've seen this cover around for years.
Well, we've seen it since they launched Black Label.
Yes, and so it's finally coming out. 72 pages, $8.
Not bad.
It's a chunky boy. I also want to give a shout out to this. I'm super interested in this Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant #1. You're getting 96 pages for $9.99. It's a whole bunch of like covers and different writers and stories and going on in there. And Danny DeVito.
And Danny DeVito. How could you go wrong?
He's writing a thing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna guess it's about the Penguin. And also, if you're looking for any of those tie-ins, the Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Death of Doctor Strange tie-in is coming out next week. It's supposed to be this week, but it's coming out next week. But this one's written by Jed MacKay.
Yeah.
Because he's writing the Spider-Man book, but he's also writing... Wait, no, he's not.
He was writing Death of Doctor Strange.
Never mind. I'm like, no, Zeb Wells.
Yeah, Zeb Wells.
Different sets of...
He's writing Moon Knight.
It's fine. But this is one of the ones that he's writing as opposed to letting like the normal writer take over. Because like the Scotty Young one for
Strange Academy?
Yes, it's Scotty Young.
Yeah.
So like he's writing his own there.
Right.
So I was gonna pick this one up probably just because he's writing it. So I don't know if that means anything. Like he might.
There might be more to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But don't worry, the cover is drawn by Greg Land, but the interior is done by Marcelo Ferreira.
I noticed that too. I was like, that's a shame.
Don't let that like throw you.
Yeah.
Because the cover is awful.
But as Sal mentioned, it is Ben Reilly. So I'm interested to see this matchup because should be a Doctor Strange if he's involved in it at all who doesn't know Spider-Man.
Right.
And it's a Spider-Man who doesn't really know Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I don't remember any issues where Ben Reilly dealt with Doctor Strange at all. I love this description, by the way. I don't know who writes these, but this ain't Ben Reilly's first rodeo as Spider-Man, but he's never had to deal with the death of the Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, no shit. Most people haven't. What?
So most folk.
This is my first rodeo, but I've never had to deal with flying a spaceship. It's just things I'll never do.
Accurate.
What a dumb thing to write. But anyway, that exists.
So yeah, that's it.
Those are books that are coming out.
There's
more. There's so much more.
I can't talk anymore though.
That's fair.
I don't want to read and then speak aloud anymore.
Yeah. Well, Khalif Frederick says, "Can you see Disney doing a Strange Academy live action show?"
I can see them doing a like animated show.
Mm-hmm.
I would love a live action one, but like if budgetarily speaking, we get a better looking show because they can do it animated because it's all sorts of crazy stuff they're going to be looking at. That's fine, but I think this absolutely should be a show.
Agreed. So Hawkeye is 2 episodes deep into its series, and I believe we have 6 episodes total. So we are a third of the way through, and we've watched the first 2 episodes, and here it is, Hawkeye. It's the introduction of Kate Bishop. It was Hawkeye, yes, Purple Arrow. But yeah, it's it's a show that is about like Clint in a post Endgame world where like he's one of the few surviving members of the Avengers who's still on this planet. And so as such, he has to deal with it. And Kate Bishop is being introduced, and we're dealing with the young new hotness of the Marvel universe and kind of like out with the old. Despite the fact that I read recently that somebody said something to the effect of, "We're not done with Clint Barton after the show." Like, this is not a like passing of the bow from Clint to Kate.
Well,
100%.
and that's fair because, like, historically speaking, they've existed simultaneously.
Yeah.
So it could work.
Yeah. No, I agree. But it makes sense to kind of like start to make the transition.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that no one's like ruling anything out. I was fully expecting this show to be a like, all right, so like Jeremy Renner never really got a lot to do in any of these Avengers movies. So here's a show. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Right? Because like I'm not sure if like we'll ever see Chris Evans outside of like one appearance again as Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. is probably never going to come back as Iron Man. Chris Hemsworth's only going to do like the movie and one cameo in Guardians. So like, who knows? But we're setting up new Thors. I feel like this could have easily been a like swan song for Jeremy Renner on Hawkeye. And you know what? Haley Steinfeld is so charismatic and so fun in this book or in the show that I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
But both of them get a chance to shine. I like Renner and Steinfeld in this show. I think they both have very different energy, but both equally fun leading role potential.
Yeah. I think I like their dynamic the most.
I want more of it, and I like what they're doing. It's not like, despite the clear David Aja or Aja or however you want to pronounce it influence and his like total lack of payment and like credit, they're not ripping everything from the comic. And one of those things is this very interesting dynamic between Clint and Kate, which is not quite the same as it is in the comic. In the comic, they're very much colleagues, partners. But like she is kind of like in this kind of like superior role where like she doesn't give a shit about like his nonsense, and she's it's much more it's interesting. The show is much more of like a father-son dynamic. Or father-daughter dynamic, I should say.
Father-son.
I was just talking about Kate, so I'm sorry. But like, it's and when I say Kate, I don't mean Kate apostrophe S. I mean Donny Cates.
Yeah.
Who's all about fathers and sons. But yeah, like in this, like, because Clint is a dad, when he is faced with a young person that needs care, he immediately goes into dad mode.
Yeah.
And it's really earned. And it, like, I think really
it would
works.
be really hard to do the comic book adaptation with their significant difference in age and the fact that he does have a family and the fact that like he's been through the shit.
Yeah.
So like he's just like, don't do this.
Yeah.
You're gonna become what I am.
Right. And you don't want that.
I'm just trying to have Christmas.
Right.
I just want to have the holidays and I'm chasing a suit.
Yeah. I just want to get back to Velma.
Is that her name?
No, his wife, the actor, played Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Did not know that.
But yeah, so the premise is just Clint needs to get home for the holidays. He's got. Yeah, it's interesting how much they want to cram into the show, and yet how like well balanced it feels.
Yes.
Because we got to deal with. Remember the end of Black Widow when Yelena Belova like meets up with Elaine Bennis, and she's like, "Hey, picture of Clint Barton as Ronin." So it's like, oh, Black Widow 2 is going to be in the Hawkeye show. So it's like, you got that deal to deal with. You got like Black Widow 2 is going to need to fight / deal with Hawkeye. Okay. You also have Kate Bishop, who is more or less the lead of the show. No connection to Black Widow 2. That's her own story. Kate Bishop's story about Swordsman. I can't believe Swordsman is in anything, but that's happening. Then you have Clint and Kate and their dynamic. Then you got Clint and his family and that dynamic. And then they just introduced in episode 2, Echo.
Yeah, which makes sense because as soon as the Ronin suit showed up, that immediately was what I thought of because one of the first comics I ever read, like in terms of like Avengers, was New Avengers,
who was the first Ronin.
Yeah. So I'm like, so like that makes a total sense to me. But it'd
be really cool if Echo was the first Ronin,
and he stole the suit from her.
Yes. I'd be okay with that.
That's why they're seeking Ronin. It's not because Ronin gave them a hard time.
No.
It's because she wants the suit back.
Right. Because I don't see Echo managing the Tracksuit Draculas, but like, whatever. But we'll see. Yeah. So, but there's a lot going on in the show. swordsman. You got Kate's mom. You got
Mhm.
you know, the fallout of Endgame and like kind of like saying the last word on that. Like
Yep.
you got the fallout from Nat's death, and I love how like messed up and weird it is because like
Mhm.
Nat died on an alien world 8 or 10 years ago. Oh, like no, it's 5 years later, so it's like 10 years ago because we did it in the past.
Yeah, but it's not for him.
No, but like you can't even go to Vormir and get her. She died in 2008. Like Red Skull scooped her body up already, like in a long time ago.
Well, Steve could.
Yeah,
He
well,
traveled through time.
where's that show?
Yeah.
Announce that show. The Steve Rogers using time travel to put the stones back.
Yeah.
Every episode's a stone, and that's your show. It writes itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take that over a Chris Evans cameo in something else. A Chris Evans as Captain America, like through the show, putting the stones back, like doing a little wink and a nod to every like Marvel movie, and also deciding to like stay in the past.
Right. That'd
Be
fun.
neat. Anyway, what do you think? What are some standouts to you for Hawkeye the show?
I think honestly, what I like the most is like the development of Clint's character. Because
Okay.
we obviously got quite a bit, but mainly in terms of his relationship to the job and to Black Widow.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit of his family.
Mm-hmm.
So
A tolerable amount.
a tolerable amount. So like I'm pleased with the amount that we also got here, where like they're just trying to have a normal time. Obviously, you know, they all got
Blipped.
snapped,
Yeah.
right? They all blipped, right?
Yep.
So this is kind of one of the first holidays they've had together.
Yes, in 5 years.
Yeah, so I think he's trying to make everything perfect, but he's also
Yes.
dealing with like the fact that he probably hasn't dealt with anything.
Yeah.
I do love, and his wife has been like this, but I've forgotten how on board she is with everything. Like,
Me
okay,
too.
what's the play?
Right. I like that
And I
a
was
lot.
like, that's so much fun. Isn't it interesting that you could take a married character, make them a hero, and make them interesting
Yeah.
without having to worry about who he's going to sleep with?
Right. And also not making the significant other a stick in the mud.
Weird. Anyway, but yeah, I dig checking in with the family and the fact that this show has such a small timeline because he's trying to make it to Christmas.
Right. Somebody mentioned that they were like, well, obviously his family's going to get kidnapped. And I was like, God in heaven, don't do that.
I hope not.
It's the last thing I want to see.
Yeah. Now I understand that the Christmas, was that not originally the idea?
No,
here?
it was always going to be. Well, you mean about the show?
Yeah.
I mean, like I know the show was supposed to drop in July, but I think that the Christmas premise was always going to be.
Yeah,
the
it would be
case.
Christmas in July instead. It happens to fit a little better here with us approaching December.
Yes.
But it gives to me that like sense of Die Hard in a way.
Oh,
Die
yeah.
Hard to me is a Christmas movie, obviously.
Naturally.
So it gives me that nostalgia for that.
Mhm.
But I really like the consistency of Clint. Like Clint is a guy who's dealing with the death of his friend. He's dealing with the fact that like
Well, the death of his team.
his team is over.
Yeah.
Like, and now his family is back, so he's got like this positive, but it's
Mhm.
associated with this incredible negative in
Right.
his life.
Well, because everything else is gone.
Yeah.
Like he used to be a shield agent. Shield's gone.
Yeah. But also that like he is kind and courteous at every turn.
Yeah, well, he's like, I can't fly away from this scenario. Like, I have to talk to my way out of this. Like when he deals with the LARPers, he's like, okay, like he has no patience. He could very easily have like later John McClane his way through this, where he just yells and punches.
Yeah.
But instead, he's just like, okay, what am I doing? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just really like that about him. Like when he goes to the store and they have to buy all this stuff, he's like, hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. You know who I am.
Yeah. But he's also just like, hello, hi.
Mhm.
You know, just being polite.
Yeah.
He's uncomfortable with being a hero.
Yep.
Because if you think about it, he was a shield agent, so what he was doing wasn't always
Anonymous
in the limelight.
usually. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like that was like one of those really subtle moments for me. I thought was handled well when they go for dinner. There's a Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
And the waiter comes over and is like, "It's on us.
Yeah.
Like you're a hero. You saved us."
Mhm.
And he's
He's
like,
like,
"No, no. I'm
Yeah.
not them."
Right. Yeah. No.
And they won't let him like have it. They're
Yeah.
like, "No, you are a hero."
Right.
And I like that. It's like showing this like duality.
Yeah.
To Clint's character in the wake of losing Shield and losing Natasha, and honestly losing everybody else too, because who
Mhm.
else does he have but it's Banner?
Right.
Thor's
Thor's with the Guardians.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's just Banner, and the last thing he wants to do is talk to Banner.
I guess
I'm
there's
sure.
also Ant-Man.
Yeah, but he seems to have a real resentment of Ant-Man.
That guy's not supposed to be
He was not even there. But he was because of time travel. You don't know it.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
I very much like what they're doing. Is a lot of little subtle things with his character.
Agreed.
But like I said, there's a consistency to his character.
yeah.
There's a consistency to her character.
Kate.
Yes.
Yes.
Like she's brash and has the confidence of a person who comes from money.
Yeah.
But she's using it for good.
And she has the skills to back it up too.
Yeah.
Like it's the confidence helped, I'm sure, to get her into like sword and bow competitions and whatnot, but also be great at them.
Right, but also the private schools that she went to afforded her the opportunity for that.
Oh, naturally.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Nothing against anybody who is well off. Honestly.
No.
Like good on you. But like there is a confidence that comes with that
Easily.
because
you don't even know
that there's like this net beneath you.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I think it fits.
Yeah.
And I think her reactions to things fits.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she's like in a way Marvel's Batman.
Yeah.
Like Marvel's super positive Batman.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think she's great.
I do too.
I'm looking forward to seeing her with her own Avengers.
I would like to see like Clint be in charge of that for a bit. Like almost like a Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like, I stay back at the base. You guys go do the thing.
I saw
and then it's just
Renner,
him having to deal with a whole bunch of young people.
I would love to see that.
And he's like,
yeah. Yeah.
This is not where I saw my life going.
Well, I saw, what was it, Renner talk about, he knows about West Coast Avengers and how Hawkeye was integrally involved with it.
Oh,
so
does he?
I would love to see Clint start the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're not going to call themselves the Young Avengers. But they could call themselves the Avengers because, like, there is no Avengers.
Yeah.
And it could just be on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Because being on the East Coast for the Avengers outside of Battle of New York was irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of those movies take place someplace else. Unless it's the Endgame fight. But even then, like, you know, whatever. Upstate New York is like another country. But yeah, I like that. I like the show. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing that I feel like we both independently noticed,
Yeah,
which doesn't necessarily detract from my enjoyment of the show, it just I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Is that the editing feels a little choppy.
Yes.
Like it needed another pass, even though they had extra time.
Well, they had extra time, and like this is a very polished show made by committee. It's odd that like crappy moments in editing got through.
There's just some weird cuts where I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Like really? Like you couldn't just clean that up? Like really?
And it really is just that. It's just we're so used to seeing editing done in a very specific way that like your eyes led to look to where the next cut's going to be, is that when it doesn't happen and it's not done for a reason, it's like it's jarring.
Yeah, and it's not. Like there's a difference between like when you notice the editing, it's either done because of artistic reasons or because it's done badly. Like it's the only time you really notice editing.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed it in both episodes, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
And it's not because there are some good moments where like the entire sequence where he's at the LARP, and like that's pretty well
the LARP was truly enjoyable, especially knowing a couple of people who once did it.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And seeing like I appreciated that they didn't, even though I've never done it. But I appreciate that they didn't
they didn't make fun of them. Yes.
They did not stereotype them. Like they went out of their way to be like, these are adults who are just looking to be.
Well, they were also like, these are firefighters and policemen.
Yeah.
They're not like people who normally LARP.
Or who you would
automatically, who you'd expect.
Yeah. You're, you know, they're trying to show like another side to it that like anybody could do. And I was like, I really appreciate that, like going on that limb, because it's really easy to fall back on the joke.
Yeah, easily.
It's really easy to do that.
Yeah, you could Big Bang Theory all of the nerds in this show.
That was literally the name of the show a colleague of mine and I were trying to come up with today, and I could not come up with it, and neither could he.
Yay.
He was like, I don't really care for it. I'm like, that's fair.
Well, good.
Not
yeah.
But I appreciated that quite a bit. I was like, good on you for doing it that way. I really, really enjoyed was it Grills?
Yeah, they call him Grills.
That conversation.
Yeah.
I know that's a significant change for that character, just being in a different
but that's
profession
fine.
and not I mean, being a different profession and not being a tenant.
Yes.
But what I liked was their conversation about him being like, you know, I'm never gonna get a chance to be a hero like this. And it's like, you're a firefighter,
Right?
man. Like,
Yeah.
but I guess in a world of
Thor's.
like world ending events that are like thwarted by like, you know, like rich people in suits and gods and, you know, a guy who becomes a big green monster and a couple of like average Joes, like maybe as a firefighter you feel a little less important.
Yeah.
Even if you are an everyday hero.
Exactly.
It like you want to be the big hero.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a fun and like again insightful conversation. I love Clint's like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
And also the fact that when they part ways,
Yeah.
he's like, return this for me, like to the quick, very much, you know, shield training there, like make sure you return this for me. I don't want to get charged for this.
Yeah.
But then he's like, you can call me Clint.
Right. This is cool. We're cool now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
And I was like, that's just like they're just doing something fun with him. It's
Yeah.
almost like, you know how like Bucky has to go to therapy?
Yeah.
It's like this is part of his like
this is part of
I have to be more open and friendly.
Right. Hello.
Because I can't just rely on like Natasha to be my friend.
No. Yeah.
I have to make new friends.
Right.
And I don't want them.
Or I can't leave. I can't go on a helicarrier and disappear.
Right.
I have to integrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
And now he like has to be like a family man, which I think he probably does want to be.
Yeah.
But think about how he's probably never had the opportunity to just be that.
No. Well, he was like right before the snap, but even then, like it was stolen from him. Girk Pectus says, when I asked about Just Imagine, I meant like classic stories that were like what if, not related to Stan Lee. Like Just Imagine the Wayne survived. Yeah, that's a good way to. They own that brand. They could use it. Storm King, do you think that when the Hulk snapped everyone back, Natasha came back to the place where she died on Vormir will and now show up in Guardians of the Galaxy or maybe Eternals too? I don't think so. I think that they shorthanded it by having Hulk say, I tried to bring her back and I know in my heart I couldn't have. I think that if they're going to do that, they're going to have like a variant Natasha jump out of a portal or something if they're going to do anything with her. Although I'm okay with that because I think like once you put this, like,
I think the fact that
you trade souls for stones. If you put the stone back, you get the soul back. I think that's because there's no way that if you go to Vormir to get the soul stone that you're planning on returning it.
That's true. Well, I was going to say, if they went out of their way to introduce her little sister, that's kind of their way of being like...
Yeah, no, they did a whole movie to say goodbye to Natasha.
Unless he did bring her back, but he brought her back someplace else.
Yeah.
And like she's on somewhere else, and like we're going to get like an old lady Natasha.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
And then she can come back and be all like grizzled and...
Right.
You ain't seen what I seen.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I got this Hulk baby.
Oh no. Jam Call X, if he's staying, could you see Clint managing the near inevitable Young Avengers, kind of like the MCU mashup of West Coast and maybe Avengers Academy, which we did address and he did as well by saying, ignore my previous question.
Oh, no.
You answered it right after I asked. Have some happy faces. Will do. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad we did answer it though.
Yeah. Devil's Advocate Productions, which examples of bad editing do you mean? I'm curious what stuck out to you because I really didn't notice anything. There's a scene where she's wearing the Ronin suit in the auction house and she's holding something and it gets shot and her head is facing one direction and then there's a cut and it's facing another direction and her hand moves to like hide the fact that they didn't actually shoot a thing out of her hand. It's something that's like, it's a trick they've been doing forever. And it's weird that in 2021 they couldn't make it look convincing.
Yeah. And for me, it was in episode 2, it was the jump cut from the warehouse into where we reveal Echo to be.
Yes.
There's just something awkward about the transition because someone's moving and they're not moving to where she's going to end up being. And so like, it just disorients you for a second, but not in a way that they're trying to do it on purpose. Like, oh no, whatever. It was a little sloppy.
Yeah. It's just a sloppy cut. Noah Koo says, Hawkeye has been giving me what I've wanted since the beginning of Phase 4, an original Avenger dealing with the consequences of the Infinity Saga. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like Falcon Winter Soldier's doing okay with that. But,
yeah.
But this is like,
But he's like on his own and he's dealing with someone who wasn't necessarily involved with it.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny because Bucky isn't dealing with the fallout of what happened. He's dealing with
the loss of his friend.
The loss of his friend and his own demons.
Right.
He's not dealing with the fact that they killed Thanos and he held a raccoon in the air and then spun around in a circle with him.
No, he doesn't think that's awesome for some reason.
Whatever reason, he just doesn't want to deal with that.
Weird.
That's not in his journal of things to address. And then you have like Sam, who was like blipped away, and he is dealing with that a little bit. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely hitting more in terms of like,
This is a sequel to Endgame. Like, this is the continuation.
yeah, because like his like trauma is from not only losing his family, but then getting it back from that event, but then also losing Natasha
Yes.
to that event.
Right. Exactly.
So-
He was there more.
Yeah.
So yeah, we overall, I'm looking forward to episode 3. You?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the series.
Totally.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I really do enjoy their interactions. And I like the character development for each of them, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're both are at the end of it.
Agreed. So listen, let us know in the comments if you're watching this after the live show, what you think of Hawkeye, and whether you're going to check out the Echo show afterwards. We haven't even seen Echo outside of like one shot, so I have no idea what to expect.
No idea.
But we want to thank everybody for subscribing, for sponsoring today's episode, for turning on the notifications and clicking the bell to get notified, because when we go live, it's going to tell you when we go live. Otherwise, you'll never know. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we'll see you guys next time with a new episode of Off the Rack. In the meantime, you can go to youtube.com/ComicPop and subscribe over there and catch back issues on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
And
we didn't talk about Pizza Dog.
oh, yeah, Pizza Dog. Yay. He's great. He's not in it to the full effect, and he didn't get nearly as much of a traumatic, like, sequence, but we're getting shades of that, and I get it. Like,
yeah,
it's
he's also
fine.
adorable.
Also, like, don't feed your dog pizza. It's very bad for
Yeah,
you.
don't. This is different.
Yeah.
It's funny when it's in a comic. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
When you see it real, I'm
It's like, oh no.
even if it's not really happening,
It's
I
not
don't
good
know.
for him.
It's just,
Yeah.
don't do it.
No, it's true.
Don't.
It's true.
It's, and
Yeah.
also Clint does have a hearing aid, and I like that a lot.
That was really
I
cool.
loved that.
That's that sequence they showed you.
Yeah.
Like, how did you lose your hearing? He's like, could be any number of things. Boom, 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 boom. It's great.
It's all of them.
Yeah. But also go to twitch.tv/ComicPop and watch Tiffany play video games Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week.
But not tomorrow.
But not tomorrow.
But I'll be there on Wednesday.
Exactly. So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching.
Bye.